It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. All right. Oh, no.
What?
Heating costs to spike this winter, especially for some Americans. Oh, it's the some.
Okay.
On average, it will cost 7.6% more to heat one's home once the temperature drops, according to the National Energy Assistant Directors Association. But the increase varies by fuel type. Wow. Steepest projected spike is for electricity. 10.2% more this year than last year to heat your home. Pushing the average winter heating cost from $1,093 last year to $1,205 this year. The cost forecast also varies by region, with electricity prices expected to rise, get ready, California, 18% in the West.
Wow.
But we're not going to get too happy here though. 21.4% in the South. 19.7% in the Midwest, 7.2% in the Northeast. Wow. These increases might not sound dramatic in dollar terms to well-off families, but to families on the edge of poverty, they can be devastating, said the group.
Sure.
Cost of electricity, of course, is the stubborn issue. So there you go. You know, natural gas prices went up last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The cost to heat one's home with natural gas is also expected to go up this winter, jumping from an average of $639 to $693 due to the rise in wholesale gas prices and strong demand. So there you go. I will say this, though, when you live in the South like we do, heating is so much less than air conditioning during the summer. So,
yeah. In fact, I take it even further because I prefer my house to be cold.
yeah, same with me. I
Like
love
my kids and grandkids will tell you that. We keep lots of blankets and extra sweatshirts and hoodies and everything else around, and they'll wear them if they're visiting the house. But it's
I don't do it to save money. I just like wearing during the fall and winter. I just like walking around the house in sweatshirts.
Yeah,
I just like it better.
That and I sleep better. I call it free air conditioning, basically.
Yeah,
because we don't see those huge cold spikes, and if we do, they're not for long.
You know what ticks me off? Because in the summertime, like this summer, it didn't get really, really hot. So my house was at 76, 77 during the day. Mm-hmm. And then it went down at night. And I'm not doing it because of anything of budgeting or it's the temperature I like during the summertime. Mm-hmm. When it gets to be, if it's 107, 108 out and I'm walking inside the house, I walk in at 73 and it feels like it's wintertime. So I have the house like this year. We really didn't get up that high, so it was 76, a couple times 77. But when it gets up to, we have those August when it gets up to 110. My house will be at 78, 79, or 80. It's just comfortable walking in. Then when I go to sleep, I'll keep the air conditioning on and have the fan on because I like to sleep when it's colder. Yeah. But during the wintertime, probably my house is 68 to 70. And what I hate is those warm days you don't expect. And you wake up in the morning, my house will be 67, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you're like, it's getting hot in here. What's going on? And the sun's out and beating on the roof, and all of a sudden you see it's 72. You're like, this is too dang hot. But the cost is a lot less.
Yeah,
to heat, and it's natural gas, but it's still a lot less than the winter. But I got the lowest, highest summer electricity bill ever to cool the house. I didn't break $300 this year. Yeah. That's huge for me.
Yeah,
not to break $300. The highest I've ever paid probably was about 15 years ago, one of those real hot Augusts. And it was $465.
Oh, yeah. I got you beat by that. 811.
Oh.
August of 2008.
Okay. Yeah, it goes – it's back a long time when that happened.
Yeah.
And a mistake I made? I bought one of those little robot air conditioners. I figured I could save money. Boy, I should have done the electronic calculations first. The air conditioner in your house, you live in Texas, modern air, is so efficient that it's better just to keep your house. For me, it's better to keep my house, keep it high during the day, 76, 77 degrees when it's 95 to 100 out. And then I just make sure it's on when I'm sleeping the whole time and just have the ceiling fan on blowing down at me. And that's better than what I did for about 5-6 years until it broke. I had one of those robot air conditioners, figuring I can close the bathroom, the doors, and just heat like a 15 by 15 room, or cool a 15 by 15 room with that air conditioner. Those things are so dang inefficient. It cost me a lot more to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. A consistent flow in the entire system is a much more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it was cheaper, but yeah, it's energy's going to go up. My heater won't come on. I set it at 63, so it has to get below 63 in my house. No, that's too cold.
Yeah,
that's too cold.
Yeah, and I love it. And typically, because we get up to, we don't have. Again, the very cold winters. So, a few windows open, we'll get the job done usually during the day. And at night, it really has to get down. Outside, it has to get down to 30 or below for my house to get to 63. I have really good insulation.
Oh, I remember during Frizola. And my house was off It was off for like 14 hours and then 8 hours and then 6 hours because it was, on and off. After the 14 hours of no heat, and remember, it was, -3 degrees out? Fahrenheit? -2, whatever. And the high might be 15. My house got down to 63.
Yeah.
During that time. That was the coldest my house got.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that. Now it came back on. It came back on again, and so it probably for about 3 hours, and so I was able to heat the house back up again, then it went off again.
Right.
For about 8 hours, and it went off again, for 5 hours, I think it was. 3 times it went out during that 3 or 4 day period.
Yeah, when I got that big electricity bill in 2008, I went in and redid my insulation in my attic, and that changed a lot. But you think about, again, as they mentioned here, the people that are on a really tight budget, fixed income, and may not have the most efficient home when it comes to insulation and energy. And if you think about that, and you get into even a cold spell like we get in Texas, maybe in the 20s, and you can't afford to turn the heater on.
Whenever I go through, and I love old towns, but when I go through old towns and I see people's houses that were built in the 1920s, I'm like, oh my God, the maintenance. It's got to be horrible. And the heating and how drafty it has to be in many of those. Now, I guess you could redo the insulation and everything else in the houses, but still, I look at it and go, what a job it is. I'm glad I live in a house that was built in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where it becomes problematic. Of course, the left doesn't care when it comes to energy policy. They just don't.
And remember, Texas was as big of a sucker as any liberal state with the whole wind and solar thing.
Yep.
The subsidies were there, so we got suckered into it just like anybody else. And when people said, well, you guys are when Republicans act like liberals.
Yep.
And want to subsidize and do something
action.
stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. Republicans can do stupid liberal things, too.
I don't care about awards for leading wind power or renewable power state.
Yeah.
I don't care about any awards.
Yeah. Trump was right on at the UN on that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely right on.
Well, and other nations are learning this.
Yeah.
They're learning this. You're not going to be able to get by on wind and solar. Sorry. It's way too expensive. And we went through it. After Frizola, we talked about a lot, and we have over the years, about the windmills and what happens in extreme temperatures. Well, they quit producing because they need to it needs to do a maintenance thing where it's keeping everything warm so it doesn't lock up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When wind is too high, of course, they have to shut it down because that becomes a problem. And then, as the president points out, and we pointed out, the aging, the maintenance, and what it takes, the cost of them, and the return on investment is in the negative so far that it's never going to be an efficient way, ever. The only way, as he points out, and we pointed out, is for governments to throw money at it. You're throwing money literally into the wind.
Well, I love it when the left would say, but alternative form of energies are cheaper if you don't count the subsidies.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't count the total cost,
it's much cheaper
of the product that you are selling, because government will subsidize it, well, then it's cheaper.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it's not. It's the total cost to society.
Yep.
It's the total cost to
got to do the whole
it.
math.
Yeah, I just love that when they do that. But yeah, speaking of that, the UN. I said it yesterday when Trump was up there. I thought of Office Space when the two Bobs were meeting with Lumbergh, and it was the one guy they mentioned. I can't think of his name. The guy that was hurt. You go, what about him? He's useless. It's like Trump with the UN. But seriously, they are.
Yeah, they really are.
What do they do? You know, they were holding the youth conference yesterday with Violet, good God, Affleck's daughter, Affleck, wearing a mask, saying that we need to bring all the mask mandates back around the world. Yeah. That's what the UN is doing.
Yeah.
They're useless. If there's wars, who settles it? Trump. Well, at least this year.
As he pointed out. What are they doing?
What are they doing?
What have they accomplished?
But we have to sit and have an imaginary body with imaginary powers that does nothing because it brings people together. It's all BS.
Yeah. And why it continues, I don't know. How it continues, I don't know.
Because of the imagery.
By the way, the whole escalator gate. Sorry, I'm not buying the AP version of that story. Well, it was Trump's staffers, and also with his prompter. That was somebody on his staff. It just, by coincidence, both of those things happened. After the story had gotten out that they were talking about the whole escalator thing.
Yeah, the escalator thing came out from the Times of London before it happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, Guaranteed since 1920.
A seasonal reflection of U.S. topsoil moisture condition numbers, as USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey shares from the latest topsoil moisture report. This for the period ending September 21st.
Topsoil moisture surplus number nationally, 6%. It's actually up 1% from the previous week on the strength of some of the rainfall across the middle part of the country. On the flip side, though, 45% of the country experiencing very short-to-short topsoil moisture on September 21st. That is also up 1 percentage point from last week.
Only a handful of plains and Midwestern states report topsoil moisture surplus at 10% or greater.
That list includes Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Minnesota, and also Florida in the southeast.
Areas with significant very short-to-short topsoil moisture in a majority of states include the Pacific Northwest, the far northern and southern ends of the plains, and short-term drought areas from the mid to lower Mississippi Valley eastward. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We're at Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Look, we have to pretend that the United Nations is a great we do. We have to pretend it's a great organization that even if it doesn't solve problems, it's a place for people to meet. It's basically the world blah blah blah. Right. But nothing really gets done. But look at this. I'm going to play. This is from Scott Bessent. I think he was on. Fox News for this one. But listen to him. Even he has to pretend, because I know Donald Trump does not respect the United Nations.
Right.
He doesn't believe it's a great organization. Listen to this.
President Trump, as you know, Maria, is all about solutions. Why have we accepted that things don't work? He asked. Like, why is the federal government not delivering for people? Why are our cities unsafe? So he came to New York, and he has great respect for the United Nations. Great respect for the United Nations.
No, he doesn't.
No.
You've got to say that. You've got to pretend that the United Nations is this great organization that gets things done and solves problems, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't want that job of having to pretend.
You know, you and I said this when a lot of people thought that Trump was an isolationist. We said, no, he's not. He's going to, we don't see it. And when he took out Soleimani, it was clear. But you've seen how he has used the projection of American power around the world. You've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Right.
The United States, people say, well, why do we have to be? Because we are.
Yeah.
Those are the cards we've been dealt.
Right.
We're still the world's superpower. World's greatest economy, it's technical innovations where freedom is still there and innovation is still here. If we don't regulate the daylights out of it, and Trump is somebody who wants to get things. Trump obviously is somebody who wants to get things done. That's why he never stops.
Right.
And to sit there and believe for any way or try to sell that Donald Trump respects the United Nations after that speech, and Bessent out there trying to promote it, please give us a break.
Yeah.
We're not idiots.
Yeah, no.
It was like, wow.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not buying into that. You do what you have to do for your job, but that's not my job.
I mean, it's still going to be there. We're not going to get out. The imagery is so strong. The imagery of all countries coming together.
Okay.
You can do a video and you can see everybody there in the General Assembly, meeting, and everybody there and all the different countries, and the imagery is great, but when it gets down to it, they don't do anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one of the speakers was Ben Affleck's daughter.
Yes.
Talking about we should go back to mask mandates.
Yeah, God.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
I'm Gary McNamara. He's Eric Harley, and good morning.
Hello.
How you doing? All right, you ready?
I don't know.
You ready for this?
I guess.
Are you ready for the return of Hilary?
No.
Now, not sure, why she's back now. I don't know. Maybe it's because Harris is getting too much publicity and Hilary is thinking of running in 2028. Maybe she's not done. But she was on Morning Joe talking about the problems of this country.
Okay.
The biggest problem in this country. One of the biggest problems in this country. Are you ready?
Okay.
The damage. Where is the damage being caused here in the United States? Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
We haven't gotten to the more perfect union, and we fought a civil war over part of it. And people have been protesting, for hundreds of years that, things were not as they should be, given our ideals and how we should be moving toward them. So I think that's what makes us so special as a country. And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way, but I agree with you, we were on the right trajectory.
What the hell is she talking about? You notice there's no specifics in there, right? Why don't you be blunt?
A certain persuasion.
What's your...
And, the only specific she got to is where she started with white men.
Yeah. Well, we know what she's upset about.
Bill.
The Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my God, Bill.
Well, it has to start.
Right.
If we're going to talk about all of the white men who make her angry, we have to start with Bill Clinton.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I'm not.
But she returns to basically say,
yes,
Charlie Kirk was the problem.
Right.
That's
which is why she brought religion into
right.
it.
But she wouldn't be specific.
Right. No, that's what she's saying. That is the direct translation.
Right. And because Charlie Kirk and the patriarchy, because Charlie Kirk, of course, dominated and married a weak woman.
Right.
Right?
Yep, that's what she's said in the past.
Wow.
That women on the right only vote for who their husband or boyfriend or father or son tells them to vote for.
Yes. And that's why she didn't win.
I'd like for my son to tell his mom that. I'd like to hear that. Go ahead. Make the case. Hold on. Let me make some popcorn first.
Well, that's the thing. What she's trying to say is conservative men dominate and marry weak women.
I'm going to try that one later this morning.
That's what that. Yeah. Well, that's the false belief that she's trying to throw out there.
Of course,
because of course it's the liberal women that marry strong men, even though, as we find out, liberal women can't find men.
Exactly.
We've been doing those stories on the dating apps out there.
Right.
The liberal women, they can't find any man. We can't find a liberal man. We just can't find one. We can't find one. But the myth, and I just find it beautiful because we don't want to go back to where we used to be, and it's white men of a certain persuasion. And this is where the Republican Party never has to be on the defensive. You can be on the offense all the time.
Yeah.
It's a Democratic Party, and the Democrats, they are the ones that practice identity politics. They judge people by groups and not individuals.
Yep.
We judge people by individuals. They can't have that. Charlie Kirk, she needs to, again, not mention who he is, but there's no other reason to bring up white Christian men this last 2 weeks. Is there any other event that would bring that up?
No.
So we know exactly what she's saying. She doesn't have the guts to be blunt and state it, she's got to be very in the gray area.
Right.
You know, the general bringing the country back. How? Be specific. How?
Right.
And you can't.
Well, again, it is, and we see this is the very angry radical left. Seriously, she's never had joy in her life. Not once. Not even once. And how they respond in the wake of a horrendous assassination, what they're saying is the problem is the person who got assassinated.
Right. Yep. That's a great point. Let's make that implication. I won't be specific on anything.
I'm not going to say it out there directly, but there's zero ways for you to make the case otherwise in terms of what she was actually saying there. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, because we know that, you and I both being libertarian conservatives, that the conservative women we meet, I mean, look, will you please dominate me completely?
Yeah, that's what those women are.
That's what we get from conservative.
Right.
You know, that's what you see out there.
Yeah,
you know,
they're the ones that are on MSNBC saying that they can't control their salt intake and all that. That's I'm sorry, that was Mika.
Well, we've often talked about The View, and I've said about The View. The View puts out the incorrect stereotype that women are emotional idiots that don't do their homework. That's why they've got to have lawyers not even on retainer. They're not on retainer. They're working.
Right.
They're not waiting to work. They're working.
They're on the job.
They're on the job
full time
because they can't trust them to tell the truth, and they're worried about lawsuits because these are women that don't do their homework.
Yeah.
And as we have stated, the conservative women that I know, and the majority of women I know are conservative, are nothing like that. And that's the other thing that they're doing there, too. This isn't just an attack on men. This is an attack on conservative women.
Yeah.
And it's an attack that men, it's the patriarchy. They just want to rule over women. And the women, the conservative women, are just subservient shells to be used by the man.
Yeah.
And there's no intellectual or spiritual or productive impact from conservative women except to be subservient to their man.
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to say.
The founder of the Russian hoax wants you to believe these things and wants you to believe them wholeheartedly.
And, of course, the woman, let's talk about, if you're going to make these personal accusations towards someone, that their personal life and their religion and the color of their skin is what determines how they act in a particular, should we say, authoritarian, non-caring way towards women, maybe we should go back to the beginning of the conversation when you brought up Hillary Clinton's major man problem.
Exactly. And it's honestly, at this point, especially with her, it's almost laughable.
Yeah, it really is. It's almost a parody, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
And I expect nothing less. I would have been disappointed had it been anything less. Of course, the Russian hoax founder is going to go after the person who was assassinated as being the problem.
Right.
Well, yeah. Because, he operated in a world of truth.
And love.
A deeply held belief, love for his family and children and wife.
Respect for all people and the willingness to listen to them.
A very open-minded individual who welcomed the debate. Well, number one, truth, of course, with a Russian hoax founder is never going to work. It can't.
Maybe there's, we talk about envy and jealousy. Maybe there's a little envy and jealousy about a man who married an extremely intelligent, dynamic, and productive woman who stayed loyal to her.
Who, even now, in the days after his loss, appears to be even stronger as she's grieving.
Yep.
Wow, I can't imagine the jealousy and envy for that someone like Hilary would have. Yeah. You get to, after living for Hilary, long life, and think, oh, man, I didn't do it right, when you see others that are doing it right.
Normally, I don't like to make things personal, but she did there.
Yeah, she did.
She made it personal.
She did.
Once you open that door.
That's flat out hatred?
Yeah. Once you open that door, sorry.
It's lack of respect. Don't expect me to give her any.
Yeah.
It's beyond lack of respect. Blaming the person who was assassinated for the problems of the entire nation.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's quite an oppressor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what the Russian hoax founder wants you to believe.
Is she ever going to go away?
No. No. That kind of anger burns. It is one of those fires that just keeps burning. You can see it with people. You see it with people like Keith Olbermann, people on the left who are angry. That fire doesn't go away at all. And they don't know joy.
Yeah, I like that point you're making, because and using Oberman as an example is a perfect example.
Yeah.
He's livid constantly. You don't see him as a happy person. You don't see Hilary as a happy person. They do seem to lack joy.
They do. And she, I think that, again, that envy and jealousy, because Charlie was a joyous person. Even during a serious debate, his joy came across. The way he lived his life was with joy. I honestly don't believe, and it's not a joke, I don't believe she lives that life. I don't believe she knows that kind of joy. There's never been a moment demonstrated to me by her or anyone around her that is the case. I saw it. It was evident to me, and I didn't even know Charlie Kirk, but it was evident to me that he lived his life with joy. And when you are the opposite, of course, this is how you're going to respond.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
Here, Red Eye Radio, he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Wow. We're not far from a possible partial shutdown of government.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's been in the news, but it really hasn't dominated at all, has it?
It hasn't, like it did, even just months ago when they were getting to that point. It just has not. And it makes you wonder how seriously the average person takes it.
Well, since most things remain open.
Right.
For example, I will get my first Social Security check next month.
Or will you? Just in time.
No shutdown! Damn it! Got to throw the damn it in there.
It's been delayed several months. Oh, no.
No. That happens. You know, I have a small pension from Disney.
Yeah. Well,
my Social Security, my Disney. Everybody hates Disney now. I said it earlier this week, but Steve Burns saying, wow, Disney accomplished the incredible. They united both the right and left against them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.